And yeah, so with that, I will hand over to our great bishop.
Greetings, everyone. So good evening to you all. First question is this: do we have anybody that has particular question on rules of the road that would like us to treat? There's a picture. Maybe we can do the picture afterwards, or I should just, we stopped at rule 5 last week. I will just maybe I should continue with rule 6 and see if we can get to rule 7. So for rule 6, safe speed. Last week, and let me drop that in the chat again. Now I'm sharing that. Let me see, how do I get back to this? So the way I used remembering, where's it? Let me see if I can drop that in the chat again. I wrote yesterday. So last week is VD, make big Willy drip. Now, please don't ask me what all that means. But the idea is to look for an acronym that would help us to remember this. We've discussed about the importance of knowing the rules to the word, because you need to understand the content and the intent of the rule. So the content, the only way I know about the content is you talking about the content, and that's, as it is. So safe speed, but let me try and put it down this way. So normally, if you're trying to teach someone how to ride a bicycle or a car, for some reason they just like to speed. They just like to press down the throttle. Speed control comes with experience, and is similar to ship as well, in my opinion or in my experience. The ability to control your speed to proceed at a safe speed. In couple of channels around the world, there are prescribed speed you cannot go above, maximum speed, say 6 knots, 4 knots, XYZ knots, for different reasons. And of course, at sea, you can do as much as your vessel can do. However, you still have to proceed at safe speed. So if your examiner asks you what speed do you use your vessel sail at, what speed? So you don't start saying 10 knots, 20 knots. If they didn't ask for the maximum speed or want to be specific, try and start your answer with, I will proceed at safe speed. Then if that's not the answer you want, to let you know and say, oh no, I meant what, blah, 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 or at least start with safe speed. So every vessel shall at all time proceed at a safe speed. So all the time proceed at a safe speed. And why? So that you can take proper and effective action to avoid collision and be stopped within a distance appropriate to the prevailing circumstances and condition. Now, we know that there are no brakes on the ship. So you can't just stop like immediately. Some ships, due to the size and whatever, which we'll get into, they have their, they're different. So they can probably stop at a shorter distance, but there's still going to be that inertia. Or else, if you do crash, even if you do crash stop, whereby everything in your galley is going to fly off, or even the engineers will be very excited, you're still going to have some head movement due to the inertial and water movements. Okay, so I can't, unfortunately, I don't know how to chat while I'm sharing my screen. Let me see if I can chat. I need to drop something. Okay, so just to, okay, yeah, seen it. Everyone. So it's BD. Make let me drop off. I can't remember. Yeah, so that's the acronym I use in remembering. If somebody has a better acronym or something you use, you can share with everyone as well. This acronym, I've known it since I don't know, maybe 2000 what, 2002 or 2003, I can't remember. So a couple of years. And the V part of it is, so in this, there are two different parts to this rule. One, by all vessels. So whatever, irrespective of the type of vessel you have, you should follow 6A. And we would break that down. So the 6A is the VD, make big village. Then B is additionally by vessel with operational radar. I like the part of operational radar. And when we get to that point as well, you see why I like it, because it's related to real life as well. So let's go to 6.1. In determining 6A, in determining a safe speed, the following factors shall be among those taken into account. A, by all vessels. The state of visibility. You see, that's how we learned it all. That's the V in that VD. Of visibility. Traffic density, you see? Traffic density, that's a D. So already we were able to answer this. I think it's not out of place. I don't know if, the examiners asked, safe speed, what factors will you take into account to determine a safe speed? And minus that, you react when they ask you questions about that comes up with visibility, or you are in rule 19 situation, you have to present safe speed. Why? State of visibility. Okay. Traffic density, including construction of fishing vessel and other vessel. Of course, if you see a lot of fishing vessels, for our guys that fly on air route, when you're coming in channel and you see a lot of fishing vessels or in the channel, what do? Slow down. If you are in anchorage areas, you can't proceed at top speed within anchorage areas, right? Concentration of vessels. If there's a lot going on in a field, for example, and you're going within the channel, within the area, you probably reduce the speed. Not reduce, you proceed at safe speed. So traffic density is important. Why? So that you can be stopped at a distance appropriate. You can avoid collision. Because if you're moving too fast, you might not be able to, you might be too, it might take a long time to stop yourself. Some people came with some people and they were looking at shapes. Oh, on YouTube. So I changed it. I said, let's look at some ships that have collided. It's very interesting as well. And you see, probably they can't control what was going on. The make, maneuverability. All right, that's where the make comes from. So VD, make, M. The maneuverability of the vessel with special reference to stopping distance and turning ability in the prevailing circumstances. So if you're on a tanker, you understand that you to stop will be interesting compared to if you are on a tugboat, azimuths, thrusters, those beasts can stop easily. And their turning is also very easy. Some vessels can turn 360 on the spot, especially when you have DP or you're good with your maneuverability as in maneuvering skills. But with whatever your maneuvering skills on a tanker, sorry, or the bigger the vessel. They say the bigger the vessel, the bigger the head, the bigger the headache. However, it depends on the gadgets you have as well. So that will determine your maneuverability. And you see why it's important for you to have your the turning circle on your vessel, so you'll be able to calculate, how far you can go and all that. At night, the presence of background light, such as from shore light or from backscatter of own light. So this is self-explanatory, but I have one question, and somebody will ask that question. What is backscatter of our own lights? That part, backscatter of our own lights. If you have an example, if you have seen it before, let me know. Okay? Background lights, shore lights, backscatter of our own lights. The state of wind, sea, current, and the proximity to navigational hazard. Now, it's interesting that if you are in rough seas, either rough sea will make you proceed at safe speed at some point. Last time we went through the closest storm, I was on the, what's the name of the vessel? was it LNG oil? And at that RPM, normally you do 22 knots. And it brought, which is a safe speed for the vessel. But that same area, because of the storm, we were doing 7 knots, which was a safe speed for the vessel as well. Okay. And sometimes it means safe speed means increase your speed. The other ways think safe speed means slow down. I mean increase your speed. Okay. And navigational hazard. So I think there was a particular jetty I was going to, maybe in Avion, a couple of years ago. And entrance to the jetty, they're like wrecks. Of course, you know, everything, all my engines are running. I'm proceeding at a safe speed so that I can be stopped. I can avoid collision with the wreck. You know, I don't need to use much engines to stop the vessel or to control my headings and all that. So those things should immediately let you know that, okay, I need to maybe sometimes slow down and sometimes I need to increase. If you feel that, oh, you still have more speed and you're about to be collided or vessel is coming to collide with you, what will you do? You might quickly increase. If you increase the speed, will you avoid collision? Yes, and that's your safe speed as well, as long as you do it safely. Okay, so again, don't think safe speed is just about slowing down. Mostly it could be about slowing down, but sometimes will require you to increase speed as well. The draft in relation to available depth of water. So what again? So 2 questions here now before we continue. First one is backscatter of own light. And the second question is the draft in relation to available depth of water. What do you think they're talking about in this place? So anybody, anyone like to share?
Omar, you want to try? Who is that?
Okay.
Kelvin. Yeah, Kelvin, go ahead.
This question. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Captain Sobanjo.
Good evening.
Yeah, the drought in relation to the available depth of water. It's I want to relate it to the class we had. I think that was 3 weeks ago. Concerning ship squats when you're in a narrow channel. I think I'm right. When you are in a narrow channel, you are going
yes,
at a speed that is not at the risk of going aground.
Okay, so yes, squats. So what is squats? How do you explain squats?
That is the sudden change in drought due to increase in speed. As in, you have more bodily sinkage.
No, not correct. Not correct. Yes, but I think your definition is wrong, which a lot of people make that same mistake anyway. But let me see another person. Okay, so what do you want to say about the backscatter before I let you go?
The backscatter is caused by the vessel's own light. That's at night. Now, when you have your lights littered, your deck lights littered, they kind of reflect back to you, therefore impeding your sight of your surroundings.
Okay, so that could be all right. So let me get somebody else. Let me get another opinion, and I will hope somebody will get the correct definition of squats of that effect. Anybody else? Anybody? No. Let me see. There must be a way I can know the people without sharing. This thing is doing me while How do? Are you there? Which one? Which one do you want to answer? And Ade Clement.
Let me try on the backscatter, light backscatter.
Please go ahead.
Okay, the light backscatter is you can see some when you're looking at the light, you see some things like solid particles maybe like coming out from the light, making the light not to look really very sharp.
But are you supposed to see your light? your own navigation lights. For example,
No, you're not supposed to. You're not supposed to see it, but from the reflection that's
you're seeing it.
yeah.
Okay, all right, that's fine. Thanks for that. So somebody else wants to talk about this, the draft in relation to available depth of water, especially the definition of squat. NL.
Okay.
Okay, no, anybody that's come up, I don't mind.
All right, this is JJ.
Yeah.
Sorry, if I can come into the one that deal with the draft in relation to the available depth of the water, and
Please
we
go
made
ahead.
mention of squat has to do with the vessel being in a shallow water, whereby the keel is in a close proximity to the seabed, and it's more common in some of the channel that is not too deep. For example, if the draft of the vessel is like 10 and the total depth of where the vessel is passing is like 13, with the underkey clearance. So the squats will definitely occur in that place. And in that situation, the vessel is meant to move at a slow speed, and slow speed is the safe speed for the vessel to move, so that the vessel will not have any form of accident or so. Thank you, sir.
Okay, so what is squat? What's that squat effect?
Yeah, the squat effect will definitely reduce the speed of the vessel, because the vessel is smelling the ground at that point. It's smelling the ground, and
Smelling the ground. Wow, this vessel has a nose. That's interesting. Okay, so let me help. Let me try and help.
okay, sir.
Kevin made a good attempt at this as well, and you see, you guys understand the the concept, but the definition is this, or my own definition, and you can disagree with me. I like that part as well, because I don't want yes sir officers, right? I want officers that are very competent and say, oh, Captain, I don't think so. I think this is my opinion. I like that. Squat is a reduction in UKC. It's not an increase in your draft. Your draft did not increase. It's your under queue clearance that reduced. It's a reduction in the UKC that makes you go aground. So that effect, because you're so close to the water, that squat effect reduces your UKC due to the speed you're moving at. So I hope it's clear now. You have your draft. Your draft is 6 meters. Your UKC is maybe 0.5. Total is maybe 6.5. Just giving an example. Now, because you're moving at a speed, it can cause a squat effect, whereby that fast speed will reduce the UKC. More water will be displaced underneath your vessel. So instead of it to have 0.5 as your UKC, you'll be having 0.3, 0.2. It doesn't change your draft. It doesn't increase your draft, it only reduces your UKC. Are we clear? Does that make sense to anybody?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so don't forget that. It's very important. Your draft did not change. The speed has reduced. Because of your speed, it reduces your UKC. So what happens is that if you move at a slower speed, that UKC reduction, instead of it to that 0.5, it will still reduce, or maybe it will go to 0.4 instead of going to 0.2 or you touching the ground. Now there's a squat calculation on your vessel already. You don't need to reinvent it because you're not a naval architect. Those that design the vessel, they will let you know what it is. So find it on your ship. Those are what officers does. Don't just drink coffee. Find your squat calculation, find your turning circle, all these things will help you build confidence on the ship. Okay, now backscatter. One effect, maybe your deck light is switched on at night, you don't want that. Some people's cabin, they switch on, they open their curtains, you don't want that. However, I have witnessed one whereby you will be seeing headlights from just a little angle off your own headlights, and you would think it's another vessel, but it's yours. It could be a refraction, It could be a bird, for example, just flying close to your masted light and reflecting it back to you. And that one is quite interesting. You would see this light and you think it's another vessel coming to you at head-on, but there's nothing there. You search your radar. It's just your light. It's just a light scatter. But again, when you see something that close, you would probably want to know and say, am I sure it's this? So yes, so that's my closest experience to backscatter. It was really interesting when I saw it. And for us, it was a bird that caused it. There was a bird just flying. I don't know, maybe from all these village people. Anyway, so yeah. So now let's go to additionally by vessel with operational radar. The first part of this is very interesting for me because when you talk about the characteristics, efficiency, and limitations. Sorry, I don't have or maybe I can't remember what we use in, in remembering this, like the one I gave you before. But maybe with what I would explain it, how I would explain it, I hope, it will stick. So characteristics, efficiency, limitation of the radar equipment. I like this because even as individuals, we have our characteristics, we have our efficiency, and we have our limitations as individuals. So if you relate that to yourself, you know that, yes, the radar equipment also has a limitation. That's why, so one of the limitations of a radar, can somebody tell me limitations of radar? What can you think about? Let's discuss it. Limitations of radar equipment. Any limitation that you've observed?
The range.
The range, so radar cannot see
Range.
forever. Yeah, so when you say range, is it that it cannot see too far or what?
Yeah, there is limitation to which a radar can see. And also we have different type of radar. We have the is it the serial with the S band, and it is in that sees to some limit certain limitation of miles. We have the short range one that see to certain limitation of miles too.
Okay, so apart from the quantity, there's also the quality part of it as well. So how good is what you're going to see at 48 miles? Well, do you even need to go that far? Yeah, maybe you want to go that far so you can scan ahead, or can you rely on that information? Because it could be far off. That's one limitation. So the quality, the quantity at range, at different ranges, you have to know every ship, different ships, different radars, different limitation. So it's always, I go to a ship and I don't bring my old, I've been on that kind of ship before. I've been on that class of ship before. No. I get on the ship. I still try to, as much as possible, familiarize myself with that particular ship, because you sound stupid if something happens and you say, I was on the sister ship, on my former ship. And I see officers talk about it on my former ship. Now so we did do them, and I'm like thinking, are you okay? It's not. So any other limitation of radar equipment? Anybody else wants to try? Please remember, there's no wrong answers there. Just say let us have blind spots. Yeah, somebody has said blind spots. So your radar might not be able to look through, see through metal.
Obstruction.
Obstructions. Yes, it could be your funnel. It could be a crane or something, and it's blocked it. And again, we did look out. Anybody say something? That's very windy. We didn't hear you. That's a limitation. Was it?
Frequency.
Okay, frequency and all that. Okay, frequency. All right. Okay. So this is a good example. There's a limitation to the person I just spoke now. There's wind in the background. You understand? So, so there's a bit of limitation in yours hearing what he's trying to say. So limitation. Always know that. Don't rely on my last knowledge on a different vessel. No. it will mess you up. Okay, the characteristics, the efficiency, how good is it? It's different on different type of vessels as well. Not just radar, any other machine, DP, for example. You are on Kongsberg and you've moved to cover team. There are some things cover team system will do, Kongsberg might not be able to do. I think, let me remember, my last experience, cover team, you might still be able to use it on easily, I don't mean it completely, on with just GPS signal. It's not going to be accurate, but you still be probably able to stay on DP or something. And cover team, no, it doesn't even give you that option. I'm just giving an example, okay? So you need to understand that and just be open enough to drop, to accept that we are all human beings, and also to help you in most things, from relationship to money to your health. You know, most graduates, everybody that is adults, think they know about money. You know, if they know so much about money, they will not be entering things like MMM. Yeah, bring 1,000, collect 2,000 in 48 hours. You know, people are still falling for things like that. Yes, because we have our limitations. It will help you ask for help on time as well. Okay, and probably you might appreciate why they will say keep the watchman on the bridge wing, because the gadgets you have inside the bridge, it has limitation. Okay, I know some people don't like to hear that one, but sorry, I said it. Let me talk. I did my house. Nothing. There's nothing you can do about it. Anyway, okay. So this line, I've always used it. I tell my officers as well. The characteristics. Some people they like to shout. Some people very calm. Some people are, we are just all different. Our efficiencies are also very different. Some people are wise. Some people are very quiet. They listen. They get key details when you are in a conversation. Some people like to talk. And all that. So that difference in this line is a gem, in real life. Okay. Apply it to every part of your life. Okay. Ability to differentiate between range on same bearing. I don't understand that. I think this one is not. This one is special interpretation. Ability to differentiate between range on same bearing. What does that mean? You need to speak English, or what am I explaining to us? Okay, anyway, let's move on. I think I might be able to get what you're trying to say, that they're between range on the same bearing. Okay, not yet. Oh, well, again, some radars, what they pick, in short, what they even pick is different, but I think we might be able to get some more information about that as we move down. So which part of the vessel are you picking? Are you getting data from? And again, is it a towing object? Are you picking the towed vessel or the towing vessel when you are trying to pick for risk of collision? You might be clear from the towing vessel and you collide with the towed object. Okay. All right. So let's move on. Any constraint imposed by radar scaling used? We've talked a little about it. So this number one is kind of very holistic. Let me use that word, holistic. In all its ramification. Our limitation, especially this limitation, is very key on the ship. You understand? So that's why call for help if you need help. If you're in doubt, ask for people that have experience. The license does not mean you don't have gaps. You don't have blind spots as well. Okay, and sometimes your rating on board, because they've kept watch for so long, they might even be better in some judgments than yourself. So there's nothing wrong in saying, baby, what's up? I saw that vessel. What do you think? And you'll be surprised because they've been with officers, not all, but some of them. They've been with officers and they will tell you that, I think I see that light though. Or they understand the local knowledge of that place, very well. Especially when you're going to a new area. And they'll say, oh, no, that vessel, That's a ferry. She's always crossing from ear to ear. You know, it saves you. So just hold that limitation. You can talk about this limitation for a long time because I like us to know that we have limitation as human beings. We don't know it all. Okay, radar scale in use. Yeah. If you go too far with the range, talked about it, you might not get quality. The effect on radar detection of the sea state, weather, and other sorts of interference. This one is battle between me and my officers. I don't know, for some reason, a lot of people don't know how to tune the radar. They don't know how to tune the radar. They don't want to see when it's raining. They just too much sea or too much auto, too much rain, too much this, and they just kill everything, you know. But of course, they are the watch keepers, so I can tell them to go and look for something. That's what I used to do. I tell them to help me look for something, and I'll just adjust the radar distance a little bit. And when they come back, I'll tell them because you have to tell the officer what they're doing. I'm just, I shouldn't be adjusting their distance without their permission. Anyway, but we always. I said, what are you guys saying? It's okay, Cap, but anyway, they are trying to adjust it again. So yes, you have to understand that you need to know how to tune your radar so that you don't lose out on all the information, and at the same time, you don't have clusters. The possibility that small vessels, ice, or other floating objects may not be detected by radar at an adequate range. So this is also part of the limitation. You see, mostly talking about limitation here. And when we talk about this, we should know that we're talking about ourselves as well, our own limitation. So yes, you at sea, small vessels, don't pick it. You might not pick it. Now, if you don't pick small vessels and you are moving at night, then what happens? Because you collide at day, you collide at night. You cannot say not collide, there's still collision. Ice, some of us will never see ice because we don't go to that area. Or other floating objects might even be dangerous for you, container or something. I've seen a yacht, a yacht that sank, or at a distance. And I'm grateful that it was daytime, not nighttime. Small, not too big, because at night I don't know how we'll see it. Okay, it might not be there. So this part is the part that we can say maybe you should keep your watchman outside. All right. The number, location, and movement of vessels detected by radar. How many vessels are you seeing? This is very interesting in the Mediterranean area, whereby a helicopter will be passing and you pick it up on radar. And it will be probably on the head-on with you or at a particular coming at like collision course or crossing. It will be moving very fast. You'll be looking at your radar, you'll be looking outside, you won't see anything. So, and you see the object on your radar, but you won't see it in the water. And it's moving so fast, you can panic if it's your first time seeing things like that. You'll be like, what's going on? But if there are a lot of vessels, you have the ability to lose focus as well. And again, you don't have to be a radar monkey, whereby you're just keeping your eyes only on the radar, because a lot of things is going on. Magnetron have been affected. A lot of things can be going on. So the more exact assessment of the visibility that may be possible when radar is used to determine the range of vessels or other objects in the visibility. The more exact assessment of the visibility that may be possible. Look outside, don't put your nose in the radar only. Look outside. Is the visibility good? Can you really see this thing? Because sometimes as well, if you can see that the vessel has altered course, but it will take a little bit of time for it to reflect on the radar. Okay. But if you have to just rely on the radar because maybe it's foggy, then what do? You rely on the radar. You can even call mom and rely on the radar. But don't just only rely on the radar. Also think about sound. Maybe I should say it again. Keep your watchman outside. I know you people don't like it, but I said what I said. Let me talk. Okay. So do we have any question? Does this, I hope that comparing this 6B with our human self can also help you to read it in a more emotional way, basically. It works on your emotion, and you see that it's not that difficult. You can relate with it, because once you can relate with these things, then it becomes easier to understand. You see that at the end of the day, it's not so I can even know this thing word for word, because you can relate to it. Again, the characteristics, efficiency, and limitation of the radar equipment. So the characteristics, efficiency, and limitation of, let me mention somebody's name, of Chuku Francisco. So Chuku Francisco has his own characteristics, efficiency, and limitation. Okay, so yeah, and all this rest. Do we have any question or any particular part of this that is difficult? Again, if you look at it, if you are seeing something on your radar, for example, and you can see it outside, that will help you to also know what the visibility is. So you see something at 15 miles, and you look up outside. I said, don't put your nose in the radar every time. And you can see it's like, wow, that's 15 miles visibility. That's really good visibility. Okay. Yeah. So yes, somebody's hand is up. I don't know who it is, but please, person can speak.
Okay. Sorry. Good evening. Thanks so much for the class. Just wanted to confirm something about the first echo on radar. So how will you know if echo is false on radar? What are we going to do with seeing first echo on radar? Okay,
so I got the first part. So the second part of the question I didn't get it. So false echo on radar, how do you know it's a false echo? What's the second?
Yes, how do we know like how? That's not the question. That's the question.
Okay, thanks for that. Rua, is it?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, very good. So first thing first, I think, again, as I said, don't keep your nose in the radar, all right? Look outside. You see an echo, you see you pick up something on your radar, look outside. Is it there or not? If it is, okay. If it's not, then investigate it more. Is it visibility issue? Probably not. Or if it's visibility issue, that means, oh, visibility is good. But you're seeing something at 3 miles. Visibility already is about 10 miles, and you cannot see the thing by sight. You start to, you want to know more. What's going on? Is it just some circles? Is it your tuning, that's affecting your radar? Or is it a swap, something on your port side, but because of your tuning of the radar, is showing like concentric arcs. So, you have to keep asking yourself this question until you can actually say, yeah, okay, I have checked and there is no object there. Okay. They say there's no smoke without fire. So once there's smoke, there's fire somewhere. So you want to really be sure that there's no fire on that smoke. So you cannot just say, oh, it's false. No, you have to do all the investigation, do your mental risk assessment, they call it, check everything. Don't put your nose in the radar. That's very important. Check your tuning. Tuning about radar is practice. So it's practice. What do you really want to get out from your radar? That's how to tune your radar. What do you want to get out of the radar? What do you expect? Now we have X-band and S-band. You guys need to understand the difference between the two. Between the two. And I've gone on ships for inspections whereby I've seen both radars on the same frequency, on the same, because how would I call it now? You can change. And both radars, both screens are using the same antenna. So it's a waste of antenna space, actually. It's just a waste. And, I've had to point it out. I've been on vessels whereby they are in port and they are, the echo sounder is on 400 meters. You think it's a joke. 400 meters echo sounder import. Whereby your underkey clearance is maybe 3 meters. So again, this is on us as deck officers to be vigilant, to, these things, nobody will see it when you do it. When you do it right, nobody really sees. Everything will be going smoothly. It's when you don't do it right that something will happen. Before you freak out about your echo sounder, first check, is the scale, is the range okay? Before you freak out about your radar, check, is the range okay? So I gave you guys an example whereby I was called around 5 a.m. and this officer called me that he's in doubt. And I went there and said, oh, there's a lot of vessels you can see on the radar, he doesn't know what to do. And I looked at it. We were moving at 8 knots. The first object that you can see is 16 miles away. The radar was on 48 miles or something like that. It was not appropriate. It's good you saw them on time, but there were vessels at anchor, for Christ's sake. For us, before we will meet any of them closest to us, we will sail 2 hours. So why are you calling me 5 o'clock? Okay. So it's about getting used to it. Press it. Or open the manual. Open the manual. Just flip through the manual. Just flip through it. You will learn something. I did a course on a very pause. So for those on the DP system, you have your DGPS. I did a course on very pause. I thought it was silly because I've used very pause for a long time. But after the course and some exam tests, really, I was surprised. I got more information about very pause. The way it operates. So it's not just the box. It's not just the shiny box. It's something to learn more information about it. I know it's quite interesting. So guys, I encourage you to please don't just drink coffee. Open the manuals, flip through it. What's this test you have to do on your radars? Do your radar. Your radar log is not just for you to be writing rubbish. Just be writing as if you did nothing. Do it properly. At least once in a while. Get used to your performance monitor. Get used to how to do your pile indexing on your radar. Get used to those things. Nobody, we all come to this life with our brain is blank. What you write in it depends on what you expose yourself to. Okay. I hope that was useful. And you now love rule 6, safe speed. Yes, Chuku, please go ahead.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Good evening, sir. Good evening, everybody.
Yeah, good evening. We can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay. So I would just want to add something. I hope it.
Please go ahead.
It's based on you.
So I don't know if it's just me, but I think we are expressing limitation of Chuku Francis internet. Can you type it? Is it possible for you to type what you're talking about? Because we can't hear you now. So,
Okay, Captain, I have a question.
Please go ahead.
Okay, I want to know about the running hours of the magnetron. Is there specific running hours for you to get to before you change the magnetron of a radar issue?
Okay, very good question. Very good. I like that. And again, I think it's going to be like what I said. No 2 ships same. We can't even assume they're the same. The manufacturer, equipment manufacturer, original equipment manufacturer, OEM. We have to get back to them. Say you have provided this equipment. So it's like saying running hours of machinery before you do overhaul. They are not the same. So that's why I said read the manual as well. Most times in the first 2-3 pages of it, you see this information about running hours of your magnetron. And they'll say at XYZ, change it. And when you do maybe some test on it, you'll be able to see how, all that as well. So good question, but again, we have to fall back on the OEM. Thanks.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. Any other question, guys, on this? So remember that your radar might not be able to pick wood, though. You know how the radar works now. So it might not be able to pick wood. It might, some of them might pick it, but they might not pick it on time. So canoe or a wooden vessel floating, you might not see it there. And one thing we don't want to do, we don't want to collide. All right. So that was a good one. Chuku, please type what you want to talk about. It's going to be interesting for us. So I don't want to go to rule 7. I really wanted to dwell on this and to love it. Just love it. Me, I'm a man of love. Solid metal. So relate this to yourself, and you just see all of a sudden it's interesting. Again, I want to encourage you. What you learn now, share with somebody else. You never know who would need it. The person you share with that might be something that would help them and say, oh, remember you said this 10 years ago. Let's have productive conversation at sea, right? I used to do something. Let me. I don't know if anybody has done it before. Most of my cadets will have done it anyway. Anywhere that sailed with me as a cadet with me. I tell them to give me the list of all the deck equipment. I expect to get like 40 or 50. So they write all the deck equipment, bridge equipment, they write the serial number, they write the location as well. Very interesting exercise for cadets. Very interesting. When they're looking for the serial number, you have to go underneath, you have to bend down. Your knees will be on the floor to bend and find the serial number and the model. So I'm not saying you can't tell your cadet to do it though. But, you must write kettle, that kettle that we use in making captains.
You don't buy job.
But it helps. I find that it's very helpful. After that exercise, the cadet knows everything about everywhere. They know it. Also know where is the manual. Have you seen the manual? It's really good exercise, and they enjoy it. Any question, guys, before we wrap up the day? I think maybe Captain Busaya wants to talk about the picture he shared. So let me stop sharing. Thank you so much for your day today, your time as well. Captain Busaya, over to you, sir.
Yes, thank you very much for today. I'm sure everyone already more enlightened, and I'm glad we spent a lot of time on the safe speed. The safe speed, like Captain Tayo has just said, it's not just about how many knots you're moving. Your ship is moving through the waters, but depending on the circumstances. So let me just share this. And I would just like to go around. I would just hear what everybody has got to say regarding it. So let me know if I'm an officer or if I'm a captain. I see which officer makes the right decision here. Can everybody see my screen?
Yeah.
All right. So this is not a time. Everybody should get ready. In the order of my own screen, I think I have JJ first. So we've been dealing on collision regulation. Just give me a brief answer, please, so that everyone will talk. What would be your action here? And what rules?
Okay, yeah. My action here, the CPA is 0. The other vessel is making higher speed more than I, and the distance to her is 0. So my decision here, based on the rules, I will reduce my speed to the minimum, or stop my movement and allow the other vessel to pass. Since I'm having the vessel making higher speed, so that she can pass before I will move. Just to make it brief, I don't want to go for that more, sir.
Okay, so what you're going to do is alter your speed. Is that correct? Or stop? Did you say stop?
I will reduce my speed to the barest minimum or stop. If I stop and my vessel is still moving, that means I'll just be moving slowly ahead and allow the vessel to pass because she's making higher speed more than me and my CPA is zero based on the rules, sir.
All right. That's noted. Um, which rule? JJ, which rule are we
Okay,
talking about here?
the rules that apply here, rule 6 apply, safe speed. Rule 8 apply, and every other rules, but majorly rule 6 and rule 8 is what is more germane here in this rule. Thank you, sir.
I didn't know I'll be asking much one person. Tell me what our rule 8 applies. I mean, rule 6 applies here. What's rule 6 saying?
Rule 6 talk about the safe speed.
Yeah,
And,
what is the safe speed?
she said that I shall proceed at safe speed at all time so that I can take effective action to stop my engine so that to avoid collision. I don't want to put the word for word. But any action that I would take, the kind of speed I would take in order to avoid collision is what the safe speed has to do with me. And the rule 8, which talk about
No,
the
no, no.
action to avoid
I
collision.
think let's bring it out as a lecture here. And like I said, everybody's gonna talk. So
Roger, sir.
can you quote? I mean, yeah, Capt Tayo has said giving us permission now to quote it. Every vessel shall do what?
It says every vessel shall at all time proceed at a safe speed so that
Okay,
she can take
let's
proper and
pause
effective
there.
action.
Let's pause there. She was going on
Roger,
9.
sir.
She was going on 9 knots.
Yes, sir.
Was that a safe speed or it wasn't a safe speed? You know what? Just to be fast, I don't want to beat around. It's
Okay, no,
alteration of course when you are changing your speed to avoid collision. Would that be considered as safe speed, or that will be considered as an action to avoid collision? So what I'm saying is, you are in a narrow channel. It's going to be different from when you are in an open sea. So I'm on open sea. I'm on 9 knots there. I'm in a narrow channel on airport. I keep it on 4 knots. Those are safe speed. Then all of a sudden, I bring it down to barest minimum because one tolo boat is passing. Does that mean that that action now is the newest safe speed I should proceed on, or that was an action to avoid collision?
At that point, okay. But if I might get you right, if I'm reducing my speed from a higher speed to a lower speed and I'm still reducing it further, it's still a safe speed. And at the same time, it's an action to avoid collision at the same time.
All right. I'll come back.
That's the action I've taken.
Don't worry, don't put yourself under attention. Ade Clement, over to you.
I have two options or two or more options.
Yeah.
If you look at, let me assume I'm ship A. And if you look at my starboard side, I have the isolated danger mark. So there is no how I can say, let me approach vessel B at her stern. So what I would do is, number one option I would do is, seeing her ship particulars, call speed and TCPA, knowing this thing, what I'll do is I'll call her and ask her if she can increase her speed. So I will reduce my own speed. That's one of the actions I'll take to avoid collision. Another thing I'll do is that if considering the prevailing condition, if I have no ship at my coming so close from my stern, I can also do a 360 turn. I can also do a 360 turn if it is safe for me to do so. So I'll reduce my speed, ask her to increase her speed, or I do a 360 turn if it is safe to do so. These are the actions I'll take to avoid collision.
All right. Reduce your speed.
Yes, sir. I'll reduce my speed in order to increase my time of CPA to her. I'm assuming I am ship number 8.
And then you said you tell her to increase her speed.
Yeah, I will advise her to increase her speed.
How will you advise her to increase her speed?
She cannot be taking the same action I'm taking.
Okay, Ade, just break it down. How are you going to advise her to increase her speed?
Okay, that's what I'm saying. I'll call her
on radio.
I will call her on radio on the general channel, VHF on the general channel, and maybe
Is that correct? Are we using the VHS now for pollution avoidance?
It's not what? It's not part of the rules to use VHF for collision avoidance.
So why are we doing that?
But there are exceptions to the rules according to what Correct said. Any action that will help you to avoid collision.
Let me let you know this. If I am your examiner at this point, I would fail you.
No,
politely. I would say Mr. Ade Clement. Fail.
No, but yeah, we might be smiling about this now, but this is very important. Especially, we should take our eye off what we are doing in our coastal waters and look at it based on what the regulation requires us to do as international seafarers. On no account, number one, should you even be advising the other person what to do. The rule says what are his intention. If you are in doubt of his intention, the rule still tells you what you are supposed to do. The rule can easily have told you, pick up your phone, pick up your VHF, and call the other person. But the rule specifically avoided that. So if you want to stick to the rules, and like I said, this is not just for exam, but this is real practical stuff you're supposed to do. Avoid number one, picking up VHF to communicate, increase your speed. Do you know what she's facing? Do you know what she's going through? Or do you know what she's seeing from our own side here? So let's come back to your own action. Don't do the mistake of picking up VHF. One, don't do the mistake of saying, oh, I'm going to advise the other person to increase our speed or alter course as well. Is that understood? So yeah,
I'll reduce my speed. I'll reduce my speed as safe as practicable, so I can have her pass cross before I do.
Are we going to alter course?
Yes, I can also alter my course to port. But if I alter my course to port and she's still making that same speed, if I'm to alter my course to port,
are you altering your course to port?
Sir?
You alter your course to port.
If I'm to alter my course to port, that means I need to increase my speed, because if I go with my prevailing speed of 9 knots, we might also have a collision.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Capt Tayo, you want to say something?
Yes, I wanted to say that Ade, you are digging a hole, and you kept digging. You're going to alter to port. It's unbelievable. In this scenario, alteration of course to port. Which rule? How? Why? And again, you have only one action anyway. So always remember this. You cannot start your answer with, I have 2 options, because you cannot divide the ship into 2.
Okay, sir.
So you choose one and stick to it. The or, except you are really, really pressed, but stick to one. Or your alteration of course to port when you're already in a collision situation with the vessel on your starboard side and you want to alter of course to port. I'm not really pleased with that.
Okay, sir.
Okay, I did just give us the unit to explain it. I need to know what rule as well you are coming from in this.
Okay. I will reduce my speed according to rule number 6, safe speed. I will apply rule 6, 8, and 19.
All right. Rule what?
Rule 6, rule 8. Rule 6 and rule 8. Rule 8 taking action, positive action in ample
All right. And you
time
said one
to
more rule.
avoid the confusion, to avoid the risk of collision.
And you
Rule
said
6
one
and
more
8,
rule.
sir.
Okay.
So
Just
that one,
process. Okay.
that
All
one
right.
is restricted disability. That one is wrong. 19.
Okay, thank you. Uma, action.
Yes, sir.
Rules.
Okay, sir. Will you believe me that if I did not take any action and the vessel did not take any action, well, both of us were going to pass? Because if you look at the TCP, she's going to pass 3 minutes ahead of me. But then I still believe reduction of the speed will be the best action. I'll just reduce speed so that she will pass at least 5 minutes before my arrival.
That's distant. So what rule?
Still safe speed, sir. Or 6 and 8, action to avoid collision.
Okay, so now let's look at it from your first angle. Honestly, Captain Tayo is really trying to let us know that whatever answer you are giving, please do not dig a hole for yourself. When you are taking actions at sea, are you only taking actions to prevent collision? Uma,
Yes, sir. That is the most important thing.
I
To
know
avoid.
that is the most important thing, but the most important thing also is to follow the pollution regulation. When you are at sea and you alter the course, are you taking action only to avoid? Is it only when you are on collision course that you take action? Are you there? Can you? Okay, let me share my screen.
Yes, I can hear you, sir.
And yeah, sorry, I'll share my screen here so we can see what I mean. Can you read this out for me?
Okay. If there is sufficient sea room, alteration of course alone may be the most effective action to avoid a close quarter situation, provided that it is made in good time, is substantial and does not result in another close quarter situation.
Action to avoid collision should not only be looked at when we are trying to avoid collision. So you are looking at a 3 minutes. Is a 3 minutes not a close quarter situation to you?
It is. That was why I said, okay, I will reduce my speed so that at least I will give more time, so that the time difference should be about 5 minutes or more.
I think keep your answer simple, because when you want to start going into 5 minutes, then I might be able to start digging and I'll put you into more trouble. Uma, state your
Okay, sir.
answers straight. Tell the examiner what you want to do. You don't need to go about it telling 3 minutes, 2 minutes, 1 minute, because then what is close quarter situation? I can start asking you now, what do you understand by close quarter situation? And what do you think it is? Is 5 minutes enough? What do you understand by 5 minutes? Do you know the length of the other vessel? Do you know your own length as well? Do you know the maneuvering characteristics of the vessel? Is 5 minutes enough for you to make such alteration as well? So what rule are we gonna say we are following?
6 and 8.
Why 6?
Safe speed,
All right.
I'll reduce the speed I am reducing. I will calculate if it is a safe speed for my vessel. I have to observe that also.
Okay. That's fine. Thank you. One more person. Kelvin.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, what action will you take?
Okay. Looking at the scenario, the CPU is 0, which means there's this is a collision course, and I have an isolated danger mark on my starboard side. Initially, all things being equal, this is a crossing situation, and I'm having the other vessel on my starboard side, the target vessel, which means I'm the giveaway vessel. But because of the isolated danger mark, which is on my starboard side, I cannot alter my course. And the rule actually said in crossing situation, that's 14, 15, and 16, that the giveaway vessel, which is I, the giveaway vessel, I'm supposed to alter my course to starboard and pass by the stern of this vessel. All things being okay, but since the isolated danger is there, I'm
Sorry,
constrained
you said rule what again for crossing situation or for giveaway?
15, 16, and 17. That is crossing
Okay.
situation, starboard and giveaway, yes. So I cannot alter to starboard because of the buoy that I have on my starboard side. So the action I will take to avoid this collision is reduce my speed since I'm the giveaway vessel and allow the other vessel to pass ahead of me.
Yeah. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, sir.
I think I'll stop here. And yeah, JJ, you raised your hand. Go ahead.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, in addition to that, I mentioned 6 and 8. But I think the rules that apply to this situation is more than that. I think from 5, 6, 7, 8, 14, 15, even 17, because all of them have something to do with this. I don't need to be quoting them because of time. Thank you, sir.
Honestly, JJ has just answered a question that failed. That failed people.
You say you don't need to be quoting them because of time, or you don't want to quote them because you cannot quote them.
No, I can quote them, but I don't need to
Okay,
be wasting the time of
Honorable,
my
off
sir.
the mic.
Roger that, sir.
Action that you would take in this scenario should be action in all conditions of visibility, which is number 4 which is rule 4, sorry, down to rule 10. And in addition to that, we are also going to have to comply with conduct of vessels in sight of one another, which is rule 11, rule 12, down to rule 18. And then rule 19 goes into restricted visibility. So when we are asking which rules apply here, you may mention rule 6, you may mention rule 7. But what happens to your lookout? What happens if she's a sailing vessel? What happens if it's a narrow channel? What happens if there's another overtaking situation that you might not be seeing? What happens if she's a vessel constrained by a draft, not under command? And there are responsibilities that you have to follow. So when we stick to just 2 rules, which everyone has mentioned, 6 and 8, are we neglecting other rules? So when we are following the rules of the road, I think we should be very, very careful as well. And this one is really clear. Also, it's kind of a crossing situation, but I still did not see anyone mentioning rule 15. but it's not just the rule 15. So yeah, I'll leave this interesting one for, next week will be a quiz with 2 people as well. But the total answer to this, another thing I would like to say, what is not difficult, keep it simple. This was clearly a crossing situation, but with what we are seeing here, what you should do here is slow down your speed. Reducing your speed was the answer. And we have the isolated danger mark that we should still maintain on our starboard side as well. You slow your speed, you slacken your speed, but you keep watch until the risk of collision or close quarter situation is clear. But don't stick to 2 rules at all in any case. If anybody has any question to ask regarding that? Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. I'm not sure I can pronounce your name.
Agberua, go ahead. Captain Afalabi, we are village people. We can pronounce any name.
I just didn't want to try. Here in Scotland, they have this thing of pronouncing someone's name anyhow. It's just like I've just stolen the person's destiny. So yeah, I think it's network. Does anybody have any other questions to ask, or was it well understood? Omar, JJ, Kelvin.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We understand.
JJ, I'm not.
You're
I'm
going
not.
to
I'm not
you're going to give us the answer to the quiz.
Sir?
You are going to give us the answer to the quiz.
Did you hear what I said when I said it's going to be a reduction of speed?
Okay, yes, I got that.
Which rule did I say apply?
You said all the rules in this, any condition of visibility applies.
Any condition of visibility alone?
Our vessels in sight of one another.
Any condition of visibility, which rules can we find under that?
You said rule 5. You asked what happens to the local, so you talked about rule 5.
Sorry, come again. I'm not hearing you.
I said you talked about rule 5 in any condition of visibility, as in lookout.
Okay.
You asked what happened to your lookout, because everybody answered without referencing rule 5. So you're asking what happens to rule 5.
Yeah, I was giving examples of what happened to rule 5, rule 4, rule 5, rule 7, rule 8. Of course, yeah, everybody mentioned rule 8 as well. Because if you look at it, even rule 7 is risk of collision. And the collision regulation clearly states how we are supposed to assume if there is risk of collision as well. So let me know, this time has already gone. But what I'm trying to say, in case Kelvin or any other person did not get me, is 6 and 8 are not the only rules that should apply here. But condition in any condition of visibility, and if it's a restricted visibility, you jump down to rule 19, which is conditional restricted visibility. But in the sight of one another, then you continue from 11 down to 18. Is that understood? Yeah. And with that, I'll say thanks everyone. Next week will be, like I said, orals with rules of the road and situations. So guys, we get ready. It will be 2, but this one is coming with, thanks to permission from Bishop, with a giveaway. So it will be a very nice, interesting one for someone to come and let's fight for some prize, but it's going to be an interesting prize winning as well. We're having different examiners that will be coming. But it's just a more of, let's try and really understand the rules, and let's not just stick to what people are doing or what people are saying or what we just know before. But does anybody have any questions to ask before we call it a day? Yeah. Thanks everyone, and thanks Captain Tayo, Captain Joshua, and Uma, JJ, Kelvin, MMA. Thanks so much. I'm sure tonight has really, opened our eyes. Captain Tayo has opened our eyes. This example has opened our eyes to say it's not just about the answer, it's about understanding exactly what we're doing with the rules when we see situations. And please, if I'm on a vessel and any of you call me to tell me to increase my speed, I will not take it lightly. Don't call anybody by VHF and come down and tell examiner that that's what you did. It's an automatic F. All right, thank you very much, and have a lovely, sweet week ahead.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah,
Thank
bye.
you.